Wow guys, can you believe it's been over a year that I've had that 24mm f1.4? I feel like it's been yesterday I did those videos. And a bunch of you guys have been asking lately, what do I think about it? Maybe it's because of Black Friday, I don't know, but do I still recommend that 24mm 1.4? Yes or no? Or is it better to get a zoom lens, maybe a little bit wider? Well, today, let's answer that question together. Let's go! Alright guys, so as mentioned, 24mm 1.4 has been one of my favorite lenses over the past year, and I want to tell you in that video if it's worth it or not, because it's not a cheap lens. We're talking about like $1,400, which is a lot of money if you think about it, if you have to invest it. Now, is it better to get a zoom lens? We're gonna explore a little bit those options, and most importantly, I'm gonna be sharing with you what I love about it, what I don't like about it, and what I recommend if you're looking for a lens that is wide enough, versatile enough to go and shoot all kind of sceneries, whether it's in the street, whether in the nature, or whether it's at night. So before we get started, as I mentioned, it's Black Friday, all that. I'm dropping a few links in the description. First of all, maybe I will find a deal for the 24-1.4. If I do, it's in the description below. Second of all, I did a bunch of videos last year about that lens on the field, and I highly recommend you to watch those. That's when I just got the lens, but it will give you a little bit of an idea of how I was using it, especially at that focal length on the field. So check out those videos. And last but not least, the presets I'm using to edit all those photos that you've seen over the years and on Instagram are actually on a Black Friday sale, if you want to call it. So 50% off, grab them right now. That means the world to me. Thank you so much. And with no further ado, let's get started with what I love about my 24mm 1.4. First of all, and that's something I think we can all agree on, it is tiny. It is 200 grams lighter than any other 24mm. It is discreet, and being discreet might not sound like a big deal, but to me it is. When I'm shooting in the street or when I'm shooting people, the last thing I want is to be impressing them with a giant lens. My 7200 is a great lens, and it's a great lens also to scare people off. That 24mm 1.4 is small, tiny, compact, fits in your hand, fits in your pocket without the lens hood, and most importantly is not gonna scare off anyone. Actually, you're just gonna look like a normal tourist, and if you were trying to approach people, they're gonna be most likely okay with you taking photos of them. So on top of being discreet, approachable, and very lightweight, you also get an amazing bokeh and crazy good low light performance. I was able to get shots I would have never gotten with another lens, for example a zoom lens that only opens to 2.8, because that f1.4 really allows you to shoot in low light with a faster shutter speed, lower ISOs, and still capture that action. To me, that is a big advantage. If you're trying to shoot at night a lot, you will love that lens as much as I do. And last but not least, the great thing with that lens is that it's really designed for astrophotography also. So if you want to capture the stars and have them like tack sharp, that will work marvels. I used it in Yosemite, I used it on the West Coast, and in Lanzarote, and for stars it's always been great. I've been really impressed by what it was able to do, if I'm very honest with you. But I gotta say, I mean, I've had other lenses that were doing great. The 16-35 does a good job too. It's not bad, but there is something special about that lens that the others don't have. Now, the last thing I love is that it has slowly become my favorite lens to go out. What do I mean by that is that when I go out with friends or with family or with my wife and I want to capture, you know, a little bit of what's happening, keep some souvenirs for myself, this is the lens I will always pack and take with me, because it's wide enough to capture the whole group. It's also good enough in low light if I'm in a restaurant or like in a dark bar, and it's just so small and discreet. I never have to think about it. I just pop it in my bag and that's it. I'm gone with it. So overall, I gotta say I've been impressed by the versatility of that lens, although it's a prime lens. And that is something I've come to really appreciate and love over the past year. Now, what is not so good about that lens? Well, first of all, let's just point it out there. The price. It is expensive. We're talking about $1,300 to $1,400. And ouch, that hurts. I mean, if you're earning your money just like everyone else, that's a lot of hours of work. But if you're able to maybe work with your camera, that is an investment that will pay off very quickly, in my opinion. Now, in terms of versatility of 24mm, you might be a little bit concerned that you don't have that range of a zoom lens to go like from 16 to 35. What I want to say about that is that yes, you cannot make it wider, and in some circumstances when you're in a city, when you want to shoot like the whole city with the skyscrapers, for example in New York, you want to have like something really wide, 24mm falls a little short. But if you're concerned about 35mm and not being able to go a little bit closer, which 35 is like kind of the focal length for street photography, I have to say that you can turn your camera in an APS-C mode, which will have you reach further, or you can crop your image in post. That, especially if you own a model, for example A7R3, A7R2, A7R4, you have like 42 megapixel or 62, and even when you're in crop mode, you still have something super decent, which is a function I use all the time and that has saved my butt. Actually gives me versatility when I don't have a zoom lens with me. And if you're shooting video, it doesn't matter because you're still keeping that 4K or that 1080p, no matter if you're in APS-C mode or in full frame. So that's a great way around if you feel that you're not gonna be able to shoot tight enough. Now, is a 1635mm f1 2.8 or even a 17mm to 28 better? Well, that will really depend on you. I need something really wide when I'm shooting handheld like that. I actually need to be at 16mm to give that perspective. If I shoot at 24 handheld, it is a little tight in my opinion. Now, if I didn't do any video, I'd probably only have the 24mm in my bag. I'm very honest with you. I would most likely be shooting at 24 or 35 versus 16mm. There are a few examples when 16mm is great, when I try to capture as much of the sky as possible, or when I want to distort a lot. And that are cases where I would really miss not having 16mm. But for the rest, 24 is great. And also 24 gives you that ability to get close to subject without being like super wide and in the face. You get close enough, you give a feeling of being in the action with people. And that's something you might have seen on the photo challenge that I did, the 10-minute challenges. When I was shooting at 24mm, I like getting close, but I didn't have to get like literally in people's face. So I think really, if you're looking for a lens, if you're looking to progress and have something that will get you to move, get you to think differently, and really, I think is fun, I would recommend that lens. Now, I want to hear about you. Do you have that lens? Did you want it? Have you ever thought about it? Drop your comments below. Tell me what you think. In all honesty, if I had only two lenses to recommend you, I would literally say that 24mm with the 85mm f1.8, and you would be set for life. Those two lenses would get you to shoot absolutely everything, from portraits to street to landscapes and also to astrophotography. So if you're hesitating about that lens because it is a lot of money, or you're not sure it's going to be versatile enough, let me tell you, I think you're going to love it. At least if you have the same kind of style of shooting as me, yeah, just get it, don't overthink it. Okay guys, now that we talked about gear, remember, gear is not everything. I want you to get out there, go shoot, try something different, try something new. And tomorrow I'm gonna drop you 5 street photography tips, so make sure you hit that notification bell. It's gonna make you a huge dome, it's gonna be amazing. And I'll see you in the next episode. See you guys, bye. What's your favorite lens when you're shooting in the streets, Alex?
It depends. I would say either a 24 if I want like to capture more of the environment in the scene, or an 85 where oftentimes I find that I want to capture like a scene that's kind of far off or like across the street or something like that, and the 24 won't be able to capture that detail correctly. So like an 85 would be perfect.
Yeah, exactly. 24 or 85. That's the way to go, guys. We're gonna go try to get some sleep because with the baby it's been a little bit intense. Wow.